Hello, everybody. Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday night. It is our new night for wine and wisdom on all the Wednesdays through November. I'm excited to have this new show. I'm going to call it a show every Wednesday night. The whole idea is that, usually beginning of November, the silly season has... Oh, hello, Alana. Nice to see you there. November is kind of the start of the silly season. It's supposed to be December, but really, as we know, it ends up being from about November, and everything gets packed out and in the diary. And I know that there are so many people who I would love to have some kind of silly season event with, but unfortunately, just due to calendars and locations, that's not possible. Hi, Tom. Hi, Miranda. Lovely to see you both. And so I thought, well, why don't we have a virtual silly season? I think this is a great way for us to get together, share a glass of wine. As you can see over there is the wine that I'm drinking tonight, which is my favorite wine of all time. It's Scarborough Chardonnay. I know it's very out of fashion, but I love all the buttery, oaky Chardonnays. If you know me, you know I'm forever looking for good buttery, oaky Chardonnays. So cheers to all of us for having wine and wisdom on a Wednesday night. I'd love you to write in the comments what your wine of choice is for this evening. You might even like to take a selfie and show me. But yeah, so we're here to have a virtual silly season together for every Wednesday during November. But not just to drink wine together. We want to make it worthwhile, and we want to share the wisdom of this whole community, because what I notice is that I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. That's probably where I spend a lot of my social media time. And, I'm forever posting kind of education things around the work that I do within corporates and companies and businesses. And I get a lot of different comments, but it's just, that kind of typing interaction isn't as good as having some kind of live interaction. And what I know is that when I post something, people are they're sharing their wisdom. So if I can extract all the gold from the wisdom that I get on all the different posts that I put with you tonight and every Wednesday in November, then that would be a good Christmas gift to you as well. So I think there's such collective knowledge in the community that let's just share it, and let's do it with a glass of wine. How's that sound? I'm going to have a sip right now. I love the Leo, the lion behind you, so fitting. Yes, thank you, Alana. This is, it's actually Cecil, the lion, a very sad story. So I won't start off, but if you love animals, you'll know the terrible story about Cecil. But we have him here in remembrance of a beautiful, beautiful animal that died far too early because of nasty, evil humans. But let's get going, because the topic for tonight is how to bring more joy and happiness to the workplace. I think we could all agree that if you can go to work every day and feel like a little bit of joy is there, that you go to work every day and that makes you feel happy, you actually wake up looking forward to going, and on your way to work you think about what a great day you're going to have, and you don't spend evenings at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling worrying about the stress and the horribleness of work, because in fact your workplace is a really happy, joyful one. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? So I thought we would start the topic tonight because I think it's a really important one for workplaces to create an environment, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about Fortune 500 companies down to small businesses with maybe just 1 or 2 employees. It doesn't matter. I think as the leaders within those companies, those businesses, we have an obligation and a responsibility to ensure that when people come to work, they are physically, mentally and socially well, that we are creating an environment that allows them to feel happy, to feel good about themselves and about the work that they do. So to me, I think this topic is so important, and that's why I wanted to share it with you tonight. And I've had some really good emails actually from different people about it, and I've got one story to share from Frida from Sales Pod especially. So she's out playing soccer tonight. Good luck, Frida. But I just wanted to start with the benefits that workplaces actually will have if they create an environment where people come to work and feel happy. Because not only does that, it creates this kind of sticking point to a workplace where when you are somewhere that makes you feel good, you want to stay there. So retention KPIs obviously improve by ensuring that a workplace is happy. But what we also know is that like attracts like. So if you have created this place where people are feeling joy and are smiling and are optimistic and have a positive attitude because of that, you're going to attract more people like that. And that's what we really want, because recruitment is really hard. So and expensive and time consuming and stressful. So if you are creating an environment with the people that you've got that actually allows for this kind of brand improvement, you become like a magnet to great people. In the programs that I run, I call it a magnetic employer brand. And that's what you really want to do. And one of the most important ways and most impactful ways you can do that is by creating this happy workplace. And so when people are happy, they are more productive, they are more creative, they innovate better, they are more engaged, they collaborate better with their colleagues, they interact better with customers. There are just so many benefits when people are feeling good about themselves. So let's have a look at the different layers of it. So firstly, what a company can do, what leaders can do within that company, and what we can do as individuals to ensure that we're creating this environment where we can come to work and feel good about ourselves. So number one, the first thing that what I've seen over working with so many different size organizations is that the ones who are embracing this kind of flexible work arrangement, this is something that creates a lot of joy and happiness in a workplace. Because when there's flexibility and you can allow people, which allows people, I should say, to be able to do the things they love, whether that's work related or not doesn't matter, because if you allow an arrangement that ensures that people can do the things they love in life, and we have this work-life meld now. I don't think we can't reach balance a lot of the time, especially if you live in very busy cities that are very expensive, like this one in Sydney. Balance, I'm not sure with the definition of that, but I think we've got this meld. So how can we create flexibility to allow people to do what they love in life? Now, I know years ago, Deloitte were probably one of the first organisations to make a policy, not just we might do this, it was an actual policy, written down policy that they took action on every day. And that was that there are to be no meetings before 9 a.m. Now, this started because, often they were dealing with people in the Northern Hemisphere, so there were meetings at, incredibly late and early morning times. And so the rule was brought in, the policy was brought in to say, well, if we have an expectation that our staff have to be on these calls, then we can't expect them to turn up the next morning for a 7:30 breakfast meeting. Now, this, of course, seems, well, duh, of course that should be the case. But in a world where we were just burning and churning the whole time, like just trying to extract every little bit out of everybody, this was quite a step for Deloitte. But of course, what was soon found was that not only did they help the people within their organisations who were up late at night talking to people who had to come in for breakfast meetings, but then there was all these ripple effects, because Those with children could perhaps pack the lunches and get their kids to school. Those who like to exercise in the morning could go and do that before work. Those who have fur babies could then, walk the dog or play with the cat or, tickle the bird, whatever that might be. Flexible work arrangements allow you to do the things that bring you joy. Now, of course, we've moved on from just that no meetings before 9 a.m. where we have people working from home, we have remote workers, we have this kind of agile world where people are hot desking, and that then is allowing them to work in other environments, because there's sometimes working in a cafe is far better when you've got some deep work to do. And this whole flexibility is what brings joy to people at work. Let them go and do that boxing class at lunchtime. They want to pick up the kids and then come back to work. Allow that to happen, because all these things bring joy. So that's the first thing that companies can really do. Look at their flexible work arrangement policies. The next one is to give people meaningful work. Nothing worse than having to come to work every day and do mundane things that don't inspire you and don't fill you up and make you feel good. So from a company point of view, if you can help people do meaningful work that means something to them, that can make such a difference to their happiness and that feeling of joy that they have when they're coming to work every day. So they're the two things for the company. We have then, what can a leader do? What can a leader do to ensure those in their teams are feeling happier, having more joy? And when I was thinking about this today, it reminded me about the first business I had. And one of the things that I used to do was, whenever there was a birthday, whenever there was a celebration, whenever there was a time that I needed to reward my staff, I would buy them a bottle of French champagne. Oh, speaking of that, let me just have a sip. Oh, it's not French champagne. But I would buy them a bottle of French champagne because that's what I like to receive when I'm being rewarded or celebrated. But of course, that's not what everybody wants. And I didn't find that out from the very beginning. So what this was causing was, like, I'd hand over this bottle of French champagne expecting someone's face to light up and there to be joy. But of course there wasn't in everybody. So, for a leader, it's firstly finding out what are the things that make your team members happy. What are the things that will bring them joy? French champagne is not it for everybody. Perhaps being able to go to the movies is that. Perhaps having some flexible work arrangement is that. But, finding out what that is, and it is your responsibility as a leader to know this about your people. I had this great email from Frida I mentioned. She talked about that she's led huge teams. I've known Frida for many years, and she's been in big corporates and led really big teams, and she's also got a really impressive business called SalesPod, and is now leading other big teams within SalesPod. But she was talking about this situation she had in her other job, which was, she says to me, in one team I led with my direct reports, we turned what could have been an excruciating meeting, which was weekly risk management, boring as hell, into our favourite meeting of the week, because by making sure we let ourselves have a little bitch and moan under the guise of laughter. We took the piss mercifully out of each other, and everyone else returning at that meeting had laughed uncontrollably every single time. So she says having people that you can and do laugh with has got to be the most important thing at work these days. And I would have to agree with you, Frida. As a leader, what can you do to make people laugh and enjoy themselves? Can you turn those terrible meetings into really fun ones? That perhaps is a challenge for all of us, to have a real think about how we can do that. And the other story that came to my mind is I'm working with a big organisation, national organisation, with their executive leadership teams. They're doing huge organisational change, so we're helping them to build resilience so that they can deal better with the organisational change. But part of their organisation has a lot of warehousing, and they were telling me that in the Queensland, in the warehousing area, they have a lot of Pacific Islanders who work there. And what happens is at lunch times in the lunchroom and at meetings, they go into song and people start singing. And of course, if, you know, I've had spent many years in Vanuatu, and the Pacific Islanders, they're just magical with their musicality. And, you know, these people in the organisation I'm working with tell me how that just lights everybody up for the afternoon, because song brings joy, you know, music brings joy. And in fact, it's one of the 3 things that can turn a negative emotion into a positive emotion within 30 seconds, music. So I wonder if there's an opportunity for you to maybe not have an amazing group of singers in your team meeting, but where music could actually be incorporated to bring some joy. And lastly, what can we do as individuals? I'm just going to move this up. Oh, I've got some more people here who've joined. Sorry, I didn't scroll. Hello, Kirsty, all the way from England. I hope you're not having a glass of wine at, I don't know, what is it, 8 in the morning? No, that would not be good, but I know you would be jealous that we are able to have one right now. Hello, Janine. It's lovely to see you too. Oh, here's Alana. How do you stay joyful every day? Very good question. Well, you know, there's this wonderful saying about for work. You know, everyone can have joy at work. Some people bring it when they enter the room. Some people bring it when they exit the room. So it's about being that person who brings joy to others when they enter a room. You don't want people feeling better once you leave. And so it's about understanding, all right, what can I do? What can I do to make myself feel more joy and bring it to this organisation? Because what we know is that if there's one optimistic, positive, joyful, happy person, it kind of creates this ripple effect for everyone around them. And, you know, if you can be that person, they often call the sneezers, you know, if you're doing the sneeze of joy, if you think of it that way, you're just bringing that kind of joy and happiness to many others. So it's about understanding what it is that you can do as yourself. You know, my favorite saying in the entire world is, if it's going to be, it's up to me. So what is it that I know I can bring to my workplace that will bring me joy? And then knowing that that's going to bring joy to others. So I don't know if that answers your question, Alana, but I hope that, you know, because it's different for everyone. I know for me, the things that bring me joy immediately, being able to move around a bit and having fresh air. So in a workplace, if I am locked in a kind of a corner that's dark, I won't be feeling really joyful. But if I can look out and I can see trees and hear birds, and I get an opportunity to perhaps go outside, I know that my workplace is going to be somewhere that is going to make me happy. But it's going to be different for everybody. So you've just got to find what it is for you, but know that there is things that you can find. You know, there's this whole kind of world about having gratitude about the good things in life. But in fact, if you just flip that a little bit and make it about, you know, what is the good that's in my day, it forces you to scan your world, scan your work day, and extract those good things. Because it's not about just being grateful, it's about getting in the habit of finding the things. When times are tough and there's curveballs and cannonballs being thrown your way in life, you've got to be able to scan this world that we live in and find the goodness. Find the things that bring you joy and make you happy. So I hope that helps. Yes, thank you. Oh, good. I'm glad it did. Well, let me just check my notes to see if there was anything else I wanted to say about that. Yeah, there is one thing. One in the program that I have, the Workplace Resilience Project, we talk about being the boss of our thoughts or the slave to our thoughts. So when you are the boss of your thoughts, you are doing what I was just talking, you're scanning your world for the good things. But when you are a slave to your thoughts, that's when we can go into this kind of catastrophizing and negativity, everything, nothing's good, and I just, I hate this place, it's horrible, I'm not getting paid enough, the people I work with are not nice. Find the good. Be the boss of your thoughts. Scan the world for the goodness, the things that can actually be positive and optimistic, and then you're more likely to feel that right through your body, and that will actually improve your ability to work well. So I hope that's been helpful. It's been great to be here on our first show night of Wine and Wisdom. I'd love you to let me know what kind of topics that you would like on the next 3 Wednesdays, and then I can put it out to our community and get the gold that I know is out there and everyone wanting to share. So please, I've got one more question here. What company, thank you, Tom. What company do you see that is doing a good job with bringing happiness into the workplace? Thank you for asking that. I get to work in so many. I see the good, the bad, and the ugly. In fact, sometimes it feels like I'm getting a backstage pass to see all of that within organizations. And I'd like to say that one that I have worked with a number of times over the years, called Beaumont People. I'm not sure if Nikki and Nina will probably watch this a little later, but they are doing amazing things to ensure that everyone on their team is working well, are really happy when they come to work. You walk into their workplace and you feel lit up because everybody is lit up. It's an incredible energy, and that comes from the top. That comes from the top with Nikki and Nina, really ensuring that every decision they make is about ensuring that the people who come into their workplace feel great. And in fact, when I talk about that meaningful work, they're actually doing a research study right now to find out, what does meaningful work mean for everybody. I'll put a link to it actually, to the survey. It'd be really worthwhile you doing. It's a nationwide survey to find out what is meaningful work. What does that mean to you? Because what we know is when you do meaningful work, you do feel happy and you feel good and you are more engaged and productive and innovative and creative at work. So So yes, Tom, thank you for asking. Beaumont People, an incredible recruitment company here in Sydney, are who I have first come to mind with that. So, hello Emma, nice to see you. I'm just going to log off now. I have one last little cheers with you for Wine and Wisdom on Wednesday. Thank you for joining me on this first one. I hope you'll be here again next week, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. I look forward to hearing from you about what you would like to hear from me and everybody else in our community. And I wish you all the best for this evening. See you next week.